the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, I'm going to have Robert Alexander and Sakura Armstrong will be joining us eventually. Rob, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Hey. Let's talk a little bit about what'd you just call a big fight coming up?
Big fight this weekend, man. It's a huge fight this weekend. For all you fight fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. Take all time, baby.
Hang on. You sound like a robot. Like, your voice was fine until we went live. Now you sound like a robot. Jake Paul, Rob said, big time fighting Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva beat, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So, I mean, he already does have a little bit of
Holyfield.
He's got a little bit of street cred, he's got a little boxing credentials, so to speak. So, one, how do you see this going? Why is it big? Because this still, for me, doesn't prove anything. So why is it big to you? To me, it's still just a step, to the side. It's not a step up for him. It's not a boxer. We want to see Jake Paul versus a boxer.
No, he's not a boxer. What you just said. For whatever reason, Anderson Silva is so underrated in the sport of boxing. And he did beat Chavez Jr. He did beat Evander Holyfield. So his street cred, as far as I'm concerned, should be higher than Jake Paul. Jake Paul ain't beat nobody. Nobody. And his guy still is like the next coming of Floyd Mayweather to his fans, okay? This fight right here, if you're a gambling person, this fight is huge for you. Huge. Bet on Anderson Silva. Bet big. Bet KO. Please. Bet KO.
You can't honestly think that this matters, though. Jake Paul's not really going anywhere. It's a sidestep at most. It is not a step in the right direction. Sakura, are you okay with him fighting Anderson Silva?
Yeah, sure. He should be able to fight whoever he wants to at this point, because he has the people that are willing to pay to see it and pay to come out and be a part of the events. And also, I just have to say, like, Anderson Silva is not like a slouch or something. Like, he has a background in combat sports, virtually, and that includes boxing. If this is what he chooses to do in his twilight years, is box and have fun doing it and make money at the same time, why not? Paul, on the other hand, if he wanted us to take him seriously as a professional boxer, then he is going to have to eventually step up and fight like a real boxer professional. Now, he has attempted to do that in the past, and things have fallen apart twice now with different opponents. By now we all know those opponents' names. So it's not like he hasn't tried to, cross over to this professional bout status with opponents that are professional boxers. But in the meantime, if he wants to fight Anderson Silva and the money's right and it works and it keeps him busy, it's like a stay busy fight to me. That's on him. I don't have a problem with it at all.
I just want to see Jake Paul, because it'll be different, if he wasn't saying all the time, like, I'm going to be the next, best thing in boxing and all that. If you were just coming in there and being honest with everybody and saying, hey, I'm really just here for some celebrity exhibitions, maybe people wouldn't mess with him so much. But you coming in here saying, like, he wants a belt, he's going to be, the next pay-per-view star, and no, man, not with fights like Silva. Now, Silva, I respect him. He's got amazing credentials. Like I said, before you guys came on, I mean, he's already beat Chavez Jr., not to mention everything he's done in MMA. Rob said Holyfield, and that's all fine and dandy. He's not out here saying, I'm going to be the next big thing in boxing, though. That's all Jake Paul. So for this and for me, I mean, I'm not watching this shit. If he actually fights a boxer, I'll tune in. Until then, I'm gonna sit on the sidelines. Javi, has since we've last talked, has Jake, done his magic on you? Are you team Jake Paul now? Are you still anti?
Um, uh, no comments. You know what? No comments. I don't want to. I was told today, like, if I don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. So I'm gonna practice that. But first of all, let me show you the lab. This is the lab, guys. You know what I'm saying? This is where
Yes.
we put in the work. And the only thing I would say about that guy is, in the beginning, I couldn't stand him because I feel like he was making a mockery of the sport. He was, taking this shit as a joke, and I thought he was trying to milk the fans and everything. But I gotta give him respect because he lays him up, he trains. Seems like he's trying to do something with it. But kind of like Sakura said, I'm not gonna take him serious until he takes himself serious. And with all these bouts that he's doing right now, it just, for me, just show business. You're not showing me anything that's gonna give me something to be like, okay, I can respect that. I mean, I respect for any man that can lace him up and get in there. But as far as like seeing you as a real pro, as a real fighter, not yet. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? Give me some actual competition that at least it could be 50-50, and then maybe then I'll give you your credit. You know what I mean?
True.
Man,
Rob,
y'all don't want to give him no credit, man. This is the fight of the year, yo.
So,
Fight of the year.
oh man.
fight of the
Oh
year.
man. And
Well,
this is what I'm
guess
saying,
what?
man.
I think the women's got that covered, okay? Between the Serrano Taylor and the Clarissa Marshall, I think we basically only got 2 more months. I believe the females got that status, so it can't be the fight of the year. But I mean, I do think that there's more credit that should be given towards this matchup than initially it looks like. The only thing I don't like is the age difference. For me, it's like, come on now. You got a 20-something-year-old fighting a 40-something-year-old. One is going to be super slow. I mean, it don't take a rocket science to know that. But at the same time, you got somebody that's experienced and skilled versus a newbie. Somebody with inexperience. We see that all the time in the sport, where you have an unexperienced new kid on the block fighting someone that's experienced, that's older. They want that name on the record, basically. So we can see what happens in this. Let's see how it works out. And does Jake Paul at least have the skills to compete with the Anderson Silva? Because if he don't, he gonna have some real questions. He gonna have some explaining to do, as they say.
Yeah, my whole thing is, again, with the entirety of all of him saying all of it. If he just came and was honest with it and was like, "Hey, I just want to fight some celebrities," that's one thing. But Anderson Silva, I do like at least better than Tyrone Woodley, because for me, I think Anderson Silva at least is less likely to get bought out, because I don't know about all that Tyrone Woodley. I don't know about them fights.
Mm-hmm.
They were all questionable for me. I mean, I don't want to speak for you three, but a lot of people don't be getting a Rolex given to them before the fight. It's a little strange, a little suspect.
Tyron Woodley, man, he ain't had no credit in the boxing world anyway. This is Anderson Silva we talking about. Not only is he a UFC legend, he beat Holyfield.
I mean, not when it mattered, though, right? I mean,
yeah, like that's a Twilight Year fights. That's like, retired versus super retired. That's how that was. I mean, come on, we can't go back based on that, but we can go based off his professional standing in martial arts, period. And the fact that he's always had a curiosity and an interest of learning and being skilled in boxing. But like he said, it is like he actually said, it's a little bit more into it when it's just boxing. Because when the stand-up game in MMA, you don't have to stand a certain way. You don't got to, you don't have to have a certain type of stance or their striking is completely different than what it is in boxing. So they don't have to watch out for the other person's defensive skills over in MMA. So he had some things that he needed to freshen up on himself. I mean, but that's what I'm saying, why I think this is a great matchup for him. Like if it was another professional boxer that had an amateur background and like really had honed in on the skills of boxing early, then we'd be talking about how much of a mismatch it is for me. But it's not that. We're talking about two people that's learning boxing later in their careers.
Right.
So
it's more sad if Silva does compete because of the age issue. That means it's even worse for Jake, that he's going to be able to hang in there. So,
right. Like it's going to tell us exactly where Jake Paul is. So while people are thinking, like Rob is saying, that this ain't no, that it's a snoozer or it's a nothing burger. Rob is saying, yeah, there's some content to this, because even though it looked like an easy fight, if he can't get through an Anderson Silva, like where does Jake Paul go? Then it is really going to be some celebrity matchups.
That's iffy. I mean, if he knocks him out, that's one thing. But even then, I don't think this is going to tell me where he's at. Regardless, until he fights a boxer, I'm still just like, meh. It don't matter who he fights.
But Lucas, what about if he gets beaten by Silva? Then what that tells you?
Right.
Well, that tells a different story. Yeah, but win
that tells what everybody knew from the beginning. That pretty much is going to confirm what we knew from the beginning.
Did you guys see a quote? I'm not even sure if any of this is true, but I've seen it on the internets. But Mike Tyson supposedly watched Jake Paul spar for 30 seconds and then just left.
Yeah, but there ain't no merit to that. I mean, you don't know why he left. He might have had another function. And he was planning on staying for 30 seconds in the first place.
I wouldn't think. I'll be honest with you guys. Nobody comes in and to watch a spar for 30 seconds. So usually is when you see a mismatch or when you see that in sparring, it's like, day and light difference from the level of skills. Either somebody with common sense, one of the coaches is going to stop the sparring, or people are just going to laugh about it, or some people like Mike Tyson are just going to leave. Like, I mean, I'm wasting my time here. Maybe they brought him in like, hey, let's watch this kid. Maybe you'll fight him one day for a few dollars. Mike got in there, saw what he needed to see in 30 seconds. I'm out of here. Wasting my time.
Yeah. And I mean, they've been calling Tyson out, right? Or is that Logan? I can't remember.
No, it was Jake Paul. I mean, Jake Paul said that Mike was too old and blah blah blah. I mean, one thing about this kid is like he ain't stupid. He's calling people with names. He's trying to milk the system. He's trying to make the most out of each fight. I mean, he's making more money than actually pro fighters. Fighters that have been in the amateurs, Olympics, and all of this stuff. He's manipulating the media in a way where he's getting this dollars, and I can blame him for that. I think any of us will do it, but it's kind of like Sakura said, as far as celebrity boxing, fine, you got that on lock. As far as real boxing, no, you're definitely fantasizing a bit too much.
I don't know. Tyson would get me. I would actually watch that one. I mean, Tyson would have me on lock. Rob, you shaking your head too? You agree? That would excite you a little bit? Tyson, Jake Paul?
Man, this fight excites me. So hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Mike Tyson can get in the ring and it could hurt somebody still. I do feel that in my heart.
I do.
In my soul, I feel that, right? But I just feel like, if something like that did happen where he just left the gym, Mike was just hungry. He was like, man, okay, I got to get some food. Let's come back. And then he don't ever come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, because then it's nap time and weed time. And I'm in Puerto Rico, chill time. Like, right. And he just never probably made it back to that gym. also when he went to the gym, sometimes these, former champions and stuff, they want a lot of attention. They want attention. And maybe when he got there, like people were like, oh, hey, Mike, what's up? Now, such and such and such and such, like now they back to trying to train Jake. And he was like, well, damn, this ain't what I thought I was finna get. So sometimes they leave because of that too,
Yeah.
So you just never know what the circumstances of that particular situation was, or if it happened at all, knowing how clickbait is right now.
Yeah, that's true. Tyson's I think he still got something, he still got something in his belly. That fight with Roy Jones, I was actually scared a little bit for Roy Jones going in there at some points, because you kind of saw the old Mike come out a little bit, and you're like, man, imagine what he could be like if he did.
Lucas,
like,
we didn't see the old Roy Jones in there. We definitely didn't.
I could see Roy holding him, being like, "Hey, stop, man! You need to calm down."
But that's the thing.
Getting hit in the head.
Right, but that's the thing. You got to remember, like, Mike didn't take as much punishment that Roy did, and Mike never got knocked out the way Roy did. So the odometer on Roy is a lot more miles than the one on Mike. And then Roy was just fighting not too long ago. Mike has stopped after some years, so he has a little more. His body's a little more conserved than Roy. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Roy's style was more of like his speed, his flash speed, and his reflexes. When that goes away, you pretty much rely on, a certain move. Mike also had the speed, but that power never goes away. Your speed might slow down a bit with the years, but your power never goes away. And that's one thing that Mike does. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's definitely something Mike has, and that's the one thing that I'll be looking forward to in that fight. So now I don't know. Am I rooting for Jake Paul to possibly see him take on Tyson? I don't know. That fight probably
I wouldn't like to see that fight. I don't think he deserves that fight. I don't want to see no young guns fighting Mike Tyson, because one is not fair. Two is like Mike Tyson's not even a shadow of what he was. Yeah, there's some flashes. There's some flashbacks of who he was, but it will be unfair, because then they get to talk all that shit like, yeah, I beat Mike Tyson. You will never beat Mike Tyson on his prime, on his worst day. Yeah, you have to beat him when he was like, what, 60 years old or some shit? Like, it ain't fair.
I think that's, already kind of in the know, though. Just kind of like Anderson Silva beating Holyfield or whatever, like, people know. Mm-hmm. We already know. Like, that ain't shit. You didn't actually beat him.
That's what I
mean? We already know. But the problem is I think Tyson can still take him. That's what I want to see. I want to see him shut up good. So I don't know. Back and forth on that one. But honestly, I just like both Pauls to leave the sport. Let's change now, since we're all on. Let's go to one of the main topics here. Crawford or Spence, who is in the wrong? Let's talk a little bit deeper about it, guys. Obviously, this is one of the most wanted fights in boxing right now, if not the most wanted. And there could be a number of reasons why we're getting it. Of course, just like with Mayweather-Pacquiao, you're both pointing at each other. But for right now, the only real thing we have is Crawford has moved on. Crawford already has signed another deal, which leads me to think you were negotiating during negotiating, which means I don't know if you plan to actually get this made. Thoughts?
I can't blame the man. I can't blame the man because, first of all, in paper, it sounds bad when you say, you're negotiating a backup plan while you're negotiating the fight that we all want to see. But can you blame the man for having a backup plan when there's nothing concrete, when there's nothing solid, and they're playing games, they're throwing numbers, they're throwing all these offers and this back and forth, and there's nothing that's been solidified. Now, while we wait for this fight of the year, the best matchup, they're getting older. They need to be active. And I feel like Crawford is the one that just got away from Top Rank. So why not? Like, I probably will do the same thing in his position. Like, I have a backup plan just because I know, like, there's a lot of clowning around. So I'm not going to have my career stalled and my money all messed up because somebody want to clown around and want to drag me off. It kind of looks like the game plan for the Spence team is to kind of like age Crawford a bit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like hold it in, stall it, say like, yeah, just to like have them win around. Once they start seeing some type of weakness or some type of like, diminishing on his skills, that's when they're going to start pressuring on the fight. And by then, probably he's not going to have the same interest. I can't blame the man for that. I'm not going to say who's in the wrong, who's in the right. I think both of them are in the wrong. Because if they really wanted to, they both would have put the pressure on their promoters, on their managers, on their matchmakers to make the fight. So I honestly, we have three sides of the story. We have Spence side, Crawford side, and then we have the truth, the one that we probably not gonna get to know. So I can't blame a man for having a backup plan because, hey, what am I supposed to do? Wait around till this guy decide to negotiate? Nah, man.
Yeah, I definitely feel similar to Javi. The main thing that I feel like with that whole situation is just, that Crawford was in a position where he only has that one title with the WBO. And if he had came into the situation where he was coming up on a year of inactivity with that sanctioning body, so it's almost like I gotta fight or I'm in jeopardy of losing this title, because they'll do it to you if they feel like you're not going to garner that type of money that they were allowing you to hold on to that belt longer for. And the other thing is, number two, Anna Vician is not an easy, tune up type of or stay busy type of guy. Like, this is somebody that's going to be, it's going to be a situation where they're going to be banging in there. So the only thing I don't like about it is just the fact that he took such a tough opponent that really puts on a lot of pressure and goes to the body a lot. This is like a situation where you mess around and it's going to be similar to Spence versus Pacquiao. Can never happen, right? Wrong outcome. Then in this situation could be an injury after this fight. We don't know. Like, you're taking a chance of not being ready for a February fight or whatever they have planned for the new date. I just feel like, dang, one of them is going to screw around and mess up the fight for right now, just because, they could get injured in taking these other fights. That's what's on my mind. It's like, you're gonna mess around and F up this fight, right? and have it where none of us can see it because somebody's injured or anything can happen, right? So I don't think he's wrong for taking the fight. No, I don't. Because like Javi said, people got bills to pay. People want to get paid. He has a whole team of people and family depending on his check. Like, he can't keep stalling this out. And I feel like Crawford did his part by not signing a new deal with Top Rank and allowing that opportunity to not have to deal with a whole nother promotional company and another distribution network. I feel like that cut out those pieces so that he could, be more flexible with his purse. But Spence and them team, I don't feel like they don't want to fight him either. Like, I don't feel like it's a situation where they don't, that Spence is scared of or dragging his feet with Crawford, or Crawford is dragging his feet or not wanting to fight Spence. I believe this is all like the inner workings of the business side and the teams that they have trying to negotiate the fight and negotiate the terms and the percentages and the expenditures and the this and the that and
the lawyers fighting, basically.
Yeah, I don't believe that it's these two fighters that don't want to fight each other. BS. Who don't want to get the best payday of their life?
Right.
Who don't? And who don't want to have an opportunity to have all four all 4 belts for undisputed status.
You become the man at 147, right?
Right. Like, I just don't buy it. I don't buy that these guys don't want to fight each other and they don't want these opportunities to make the biggest person, to make the legendary move for undisputed at welterweight. So to me, it's like all the behind the scenes stuff that, people are just speculating, they're rumoring, they're doing all this stuff. They want to know people's percentages, what they made, all this BS. Like, just tell me the date and the time of the fight. Where can I watch it if I'm not going to be there? Okay. I don't give a damn what you made. I hate to say it. I really don't. Like, only thing I care about personally when it comes to boxers is their safety. Okay. I'm concerned with their safety. But other than that, like, make what you want. Divide it how you want. I don't give a damn. Just give me the damn fight. I mean, people are worried about the wrong stuff to me. If you're a boxing fan, worry about the damn boxing.
Well, I think they're worried about the money because that is obviously one of the big things that they're going to argue about. But I definitely hear what you're saying, Sakura. Rob, go ahead.
Well, a fan, I mean, right. I feel like the fans are the fans. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're a boxing fan and you say you're in it because you want to watch, you're a fan of boxing, why would you not like do the boxing? Like, why are you focused on other things that you cannot control? What? Once you know the percentage, or once you know how much Bud is getting, what you gonna go in and negotiate terms for him or something?
I think it's more of trying to get to the bottom of why is it not getting made, right? And usually 9 out of 10 times it comes down to money. Yes, there are other things, but I think 9 out of 10 times it does come down to money. And I agree with pretty much everything you said, Sakura. The only thing I might have disagreed with is the whole leaving Top Rank thing for Crawford. I think that's ended up going to hurt him in the long run, especially if all these rumors coming down are true about PBC and it really kind of falling apart with money-wise. We have yet rumor. I said rumor. Okay.
Yeah, he said rumor.
But we are
in some aspects. That's not even a rumor. Okay, that's really hearsay amount. That's Twitter bait. That's
banter. You yourself have to admit that some big matches have not been getting made. Look, PBC has a lot of fighters, and you're looking at it, and you're like, why have you guys not been putting together good cards lately? You got Wilder fighting Helenius. I understand his return and all that, but really, when is the last time that you've seen a PBC fight that you've sat there and been like, man, I can't wait for this? There hasn't been one in a very long time, and it definitely hasn't been on Showtime, and they aren't using the Fox platform.
Davis fights, I'm there for that now.
Takes
excited about them Davis
takes
fights.
Mayweather, right? Takes
that
Mayweather.
Was Davis
so that's
versus
not even supposed to be
last
PBC.
time, dog. You got a short memory when it comes to like what fights we've been looking forward to, because I was on that one, and I just feel like whether they got money problems or not, like. Ain't nobody making no real fights. All these promoters nobody is like making us want to be like, wetting the panties or anything. whatever you guys be. Ain't like whatever you guys do. Okay, I don't know, but it ain't nothing that's making none of us. I mean, you acting like it's just PBC, but it's like it's Top Rank and it's Matchroom. It's all of them. Who's making a fight that you just dying to see?
And everything is pay-per-view now. That's a whole other thing is everything is pay-per-view. When's the last time you saw just a regular ass card? I mean, man, they're trying to nickel and dime everybody, which makes me also think that some of these rumors true. Wilder versus Helenius pay-per-view. Who the fuck paid for that? Did any of you three pay for that shit? I'll be honest. Did you pay?
No, because we're media. We don't have to pay.
No.
But still, why would you want to just listen? My thing is why if everything else is pay-per-view, why wouldn't they make it pay-per-view?
Why is Crawford this Crawford fight is not a pay-per-view fight either?
I'll tell you what, guys. I paid attention to the co-main event on that card. That's all I paid.
That's true.
I paid attention to the co-main event. That's all I did.
I give you credit for that one.
You're right about that one. That co-main could have had his own card, right? Like that, like they got that right when they made it like a main and a co-main that was very like enticing for us.
Well, they had to, right? Because without that, Javi, you damn sure wouldn't have paid, right? I mean,
It was
nobody's
a
even gonna
good
watch
night
it.
for boxing. No, it wasn't. It wasn't bad at all. It was exactly what you want to see.
It was riding high off of that night. I mean, I agree with that because it was a great night of boxing. And
true, but they had some KOs on that card too. Like the card was the card was steady. The card was good, but I hear your point. What you're trying to say.
But also they want to compete. I don't understand that. Look, you take that Wilder Helenius card, right? Move it back a fucking week till this past Saturday. It does a lot better. It's not fucking rocket science. I'm not a promoter. I don't have a degree. You just don't compete with other fucking cards. Like boxing wants to compete with itself.
Yeah, that's his own downfall. I mean, like this is what I was telling you guys last week. We don't get much boxing on a weekly basis like we used to get, and then whenever we do get it, it's all by a bunch. It's like here, fucking choke on this shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there's no way to digest it because it's all at once. You know how when you go to a restaurant, you get the appetizer, then you get like a salad, and then the entry, then you get the dessert. Imagine if they bring all that shit to the table. It's like you're gonna get full just by watching the whole shit right there before you even start eating.
Yeah, but listen, even if you do want to, I bet you every last fight, Javi, you saw every card that day. It don't matter. We boxing fans, they know we gonna find a damn way to watch everything.
To be honest with you guys, I was working. I was at the other fights with my guys, so I missed the girls' fight. I had to watch that the next day on the replay, even though I saw the highlights on the same day.
But you watched
the only fight that I got to watch, to be honest, was like the undercards on PBC. The one that caught my attention was the Antoine Russell Jr. versus Manny Rodriguez, and then the Caleb Plant, because the Cambozos and Haney, that didn't do it for me, or even that Jason Maloney. I was like, I can watch this later whenever I have time. You know, the PBC cards were better, but no, I couldn't just go from one channel to the other channel to the other channel. No, I chose the one that I wanted to see, which was the Plant versus Durrell. And I just watched that one that night. The other ones I just called the replay after.
I mean, let's not forget the girls couldn't help it. They had their own date. It got pushed back due to the queen.
I'm not blaming the women. The women did right.
Yeah, they exactly. They get excused because they pretty much they got like the situation was different for them.
Yeah, it was a reschedule, but it worked. I mean, because it was still afternoon, evening.
Yeah.
Before the other two cards started. So you were able to swing that. But then at one point, I had my laptop out and then I had the TV on another station. I was catching it all.
but like Javi said, I mean, it's almost like, boxing is a really pretty stripper that only works every few weeks, make it rain on her. And then she gone for a long time.
With your damn money.
Exactly.
Give me my money.
That? We talking about you now, Rob. You the only one up here that's giving your money.
Give me back my money.
All right, let's talk about this newcomer to boxing, this BLK Prime. One, what do we know? And two, they now have a Crawford fight and supposedly a Bronner fight, 3-fight deal. Is that what that says?
Well, let's let Rob speak on this because he told me he don't believe the Broner situation.
I can't speak on it because that's the issue. I don't know enough about it. I don't. I do know one thing. I know that based off of what Adrian Broner says, in that little comment section, it appears to be a black-owned business, black-owned company or whatnot, according to him. I don't even recall who he says owns it. I don't know much about this company. As far as I know, what's out there in Google anything, I don't know much about it. I will say what I do know is that they're offering Crawford a big payday for this event, all the while giving the fans a stipend because it's pay-per-view. It is pay-per-view, Lucas, and it's only $39.95.
I mean, you say only, right? But at no point am I asking for
Compared
Crawford
to
versus Evancian, or however the hell you say that.
compared
I'm
to
not
the
asking
numbers,
for this fight.
That's good.
Okay, but I mean, unless I'm wrong, I don't really see anybody picking David. You know, I'm not picking the opposition. Crawford is probably going to enter this as like a 8-1 favorite, right? So at no point should this be pay-per-view. This is a TV fight. TV fight. This is not a pay-per-view fight. And unless they add Bronner onto the undercard for this Crawford event, I don't see how they can sell shit. They're not going to sell this. $40 or not, I understand is what, $20 less than normal, but you can't sell me that shit on a PBC pay-per-view, let alone I have no idea, you know, how this is going to work.
Let me ask you this.
And I got to download an extra app now too. Like, man.
Let me ask you this, because you're going too far, in my opinion, when it comes to this.
Why?
Because do you or do you not want to see Crawford fight?
I want to see Crawford fight. I want to see him fight someone that's actually competition.
No,
I'm not willing to pay for this. I want to see Pacquiao fight, but I'm not going to watch Pacquiao just fight anybody. I mean, what do I care? You want to see fights that matter, right? I like the Minnesota Vikings, right? I don't want to see the Minnesota Vikings versus a high school team that doesn't make sense. It's not competition. I want to see.
You would watch it. You would support your team no matter what. You would.
I'm not watching that shit. No. You overestimate my love for the Vikings, and you overestimate my love for boxing, apparently, because all I want to see is a good fight. 9 out of 10 times, I don't care who wins. 9 out of 10 times, I don't have any kind of bias. I just want to see good matches. I watch stuff that's not the Vikings too, right?
I'm opposed to you saying that it's not a good matchup for Bud Crawford to fight Anavician, actually. That's an aggressive fighter. That's something we haven't necessarily seen Bud fight yet. I want to see how he handles that different style set. But I mean, we also have to remember that this Black Prime, okay, like if it is another app that we need to pay for as boxing fans, you know, in my mind, I'm like, damn, give us a break already. Can't you guys just decide to be on the one of the 4 damn apps we got now? Like, why do I need to go through another app? But the other side of this coin is whether Black Prime is going to have Broner or Bud on their app. Isn't this great publicity? Like, this is great marketing for Black Prime. Who had an idea what Black Prime was before this situation erupted? So I feel like they've already won.
Hey, I mean, that depends because they spending a lot of money. I mean, yeah, they're getting it. Hopefully,
they're getting their name out there as a new business, as a new app, and that shit is worth every penny to them. Apparently, because to them it's just like, hey, we could do this fight, and this is just like a marketing. Because I mean, it's like people are talking about, well, what's Prime? They're either going to look up Prime or Google it, or they're gonna go to the actual app. I mean, like, or they're just like asking their friends, have you heard about this Black Prime bug supposed to be on? What is this BS? Even if they talk about it negatively, they're still getting their name out here. Like, I feel like it's marketing genius.
If you pull it up,
Shakira is right because anytime your name gets mentioned on ESPN like that, you're doing something right. However,
but they're just throwing the. Go ahead, bro. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
According to Adrian Broner, because of this deal that he signed with Black Prime, he no longer just has $13 in the bank, people. He now has more than $13 in the bank. So
I remember that day.
They have single-handedly bought Adrian Broner out of poverty.
Look, maybe you guys misunderstood. I am not coming at Black Prime for buying the fight and for buying the rights to it. It is smart. I disagree maybe with the price. I think they may have overdone it, and then, you know what, all that good publicity that they get may end up crushing them by paying out all this money to Terrence Crawford and potentially Adrian Broner. We don't know about that yet. But obviously, the BLK Prime pay-per-view is set to go. Now, do I know everything? No, but I can check that price, and it does say it was $39.99, but it looks like there's a $39.99 a month fee. I'm not sure if it is like DAZN yet, and you have to be subscribed and get the pay-per-view. That may be a thing. And if that is, then they got you on that too. So, oh man, another
once they get your credit card number, it's gonna get charged again if you don't cancel
subscription.
it.
Yeah,
you know
that subscription. So man, you better hurry up and cancel that right away if you don't want another $3.99 because they.
Unless, look, if they made it $49.99 and said we got the whole year and the fight, now I'm thinking about it in a different light. So give me a little extra,
now,
and then I might not have a problem with paying it.
Hey, if you show me that you're gonna do fights and you actually set it up maybe like a DAZN and not everything is pay-per-view, okay? Maybe you do start getting more contracts. I'm involved. I'm not knocking BLK Prime. The only thing I'm like, hey, nobody's ever heard of it. It came out of nowhere, right? So,
well, how mad would people be, Lucas? How mad would people be if Black Prime is really owned by the same people that own PBC?
Very possible. It could also be ran by, the mob, because when something pops up out of nowhere, we don't know. I'm saying we don't know. I don't know who owns it.
I'm just saying, it's like, look, I'm just saying, all them PBC haters out there, like, their heads would explode if they found out under a bunch of subsidiaries that is really owned by the same people they
Sakura, it's not out of the realm of possibility too. Unfortunately, this is the world of boxing. Like, we see everything happen, right?
Right.
I mean, It is the most crooked sport in the world for a reason. Oh man.
Let me read something first. Hold on.
Go ahead, Rob.
So, this is according to Glassdoor. But according to Glassdoor, BLK Prime is an American entertainment company founded by Silicon Valley EFC Investment Group that specializes in original media programming and provides global streaming video on demand. This is on-demand subscription video service that provides entertainment in a variety of genres to viewers worldwide, filling a void and offering diverse entertainment to viewers around the world 24 hours a day.
Okay. So it sounds like it's still
Silicon Valley, huh?
It sounds like it's still relatively new. I was trying to see if I could get like an established date for BLK Prime. I'm not sure if it is 2022, so I mean it's new.
That's one thing. The other thing is apparently, and this is not 100% confirmed, but apparently, according to Adrian Broner, he actually signed a multi-fight deal with them worth $10 million. So I believe it's, from what reports I'm reading, it's $10 million in 3 or 4 fights.
I want to know who the hell they got for him to fight.
That's scary. That's scary.
That is scary, right?
I mean, it's.
I'm not trying to be funny because I'm always gonna root for Adrian Broner to get some.
But is he worth $10 million for 3? Oh my God, that's
like
a risk.
It sounds like people that don't really know boxing, like the same thing with Triller when they was making fights. I don't know,
and I don't want to see it happen again.
Broner, because he do sell. Like, all he got to do is say one effed up thing and he's got everybody's attention. So
pretty much.
I don't know.
I mean, he can sell pay-per-views. He can sell himself really well. I don't think that's ever been a problem for Adrian Broner. The only problem is he's very unreliable. I mean, he backed out of his last fight, right? What happens when, he don't start doing what he's supposed to be doing? What are you going to do? How are you going to recoup all this money? And if you're paying him $10 million, that already sets the bar. You know what I mean? So now when you're acquiring new talent, you got to keep going up.
I at least want $10 million.
And that's why they say DAZN's been hurting so bad, right? They can't keep shelling out the money. And that's why HBO, they say, went under, because eventually these fighters and everybody
started
else
saying
wanted
no.
so much more money that they were like, look, there's nothing left on the bone for us. What do you expect us to do? And I think it's going to be a big problem. I'm rooting for BLK Prime. I'm trying to be able to see like series and stuff that it offers, but for some reason, when you click it, it just brings me back to subscribe now. Like, I'm not going to pay $3.99 to see what you even have to offer.
Right.
Like, at least show me like a clip.
Baiting us. Stop baiting us.
I want a clip. Like, let me see some stuff, but it's not letting me see anything. So,
but they can call me. I mean, they can call me. They can call Lucas, and we'll have our podcast series on there. How about that?
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not taking no 10
We'll
mil
be
either.
the spokespersons. We'll be like, you can watch us every week on Black.
I work a lot cheaper than Crawford and Bronner too. I'll tell you that.
How about they bite off Amazon Prime? Okay.
So I'm looking at the app thing, and the type of movies that I see on it right now are
you're being like, real commercial right now, talking about the black thing.
What did I say?
You said the app thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at the app thing right now.
The dooflachi. You looking at the dooflachi. Wait, right now.
This man used to work in tech support, by the way. That's how I met Rob. He worked at tech support, and he called it the app thing.
Forget y'all.
It's the watch-a-ma-doobie.
I gotta mute myself. I'm about to cry.
I'm done. Carry on.
No, go ahead, Rob. You got
it. I'm done.
I'm listening. I'm sorry. Come on now. Don't be like that.
We're listening. We got under control now.
On the app, they have a lot of black entertainment type movies on here.
Okay, so are you on the website or are you on an app?
I'm on the app.
So you can see like the actual series of movies that they have on there?
Yes. And I guarantee you it ain't nothing you heard of.
Uh-oh.
What
is this? Like a bad?
What does that mean? What does that mean? Let me hear him.
He's got his black side, damn it. Don't do him like that.
Just name some movie titles, right? Or some series, something.
Gangs of the Dead. Oh, they have Ouija 4.
Oh no.
Legend of Black Annie.
Okay.
Oh, they do have The Bad Nun.
Oh, so they got some current up-to-date movies, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they got comedies. They got a Dave Chappelle comedy on here. They got.
This don't sound like no new company I ever heard of that coming out like that.
It is new. I think they've definitely been shelling some money into it from the.
Well, that name is new. I don't know if that app is new. It sounds like Bounce TV to me. I remember when they used to have Bounce.
Yeah. that went under too, didn't it?
This is it, but it's now Black Prime.
Just change the name.
It really isn't nothing that I would want to watch.
No way. You know you love scary movies.
Well, I was in the horror section. My fault. But I'm looking through some other stuff on here. I ain't never heard of none of this stuff.
Do they have any period dramas for me? Because I love a period drama.
They do have Top Boy. I like Top Boy.
Okay. Is there even a sports section, or is it?
Oh yeah, look and see if there's a sports section.
Because we're trying to get to the boxing stuff if they got it.
That's right, guys. You heard it here first. We are discovering and we are researching Black Prime as we speak in real time. Yeah,
with you on air.
Yes.
They have action adventures. They have Bollywood films, classics.
I'm not gonna lie. I like some shitty Bollywood films.
Yeah,
you gotta like that. The crazy action and shit. Oh man, I love them.
Yeah,
crime movies, comedy, international movies, stand up, and then they have a pay-per-view slot.
Oh, that's that bud. That's that bud slot.
I think that's a new slot. I don't think they had pay-per-view.
Click on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's Bud on there.
Okay. So they
Yeah.
created a new tab. I'm with it.
Yeah, the pay-per-view just brings you, at least on the website, will just bring you to a big banner of the fight.
Because they want you to download the app.
Yeah, scheduled right now for December 10th in Omaha. It looks like that's...
Because did you know when you download an app, they get to use that in your stats, even if you don't ever subscribe to it. You
Yep.
still got X amount of downloads.
Right, because that means a potential subscription might be able to send them something. So,
yeah.
Well, I don't. Does it say anything different? Like you have to subscribe to get the pay-per-view, Rob? Any idea on that? That's the last thing we were trying to kind of get out of this, because it still doesn't say specifically.
Oh yeah, so you're saying, okay, help me get this straight. So you're saying that it could be that in order for you to even order the fight, you need to be a subscriber, possibly.
Exactly. I think they're doing like a DAZ, and they're doing like a bait and switch, right? So they're hoping you subscribe, get the $3.99. You like the other content too, and then you have to pay the $39.99 for the pay-per-view.
I don't even see how. Here it is. Yeah, active. So it don't even say nothing on the pay-per-view one. It don't have a price on it or anything.
And look, I'm not knocking BLK Prime. $3.99 is not much. I mean, I think that's the lowest. If I were to get it, that would probably be my lowest TV app.
Right, because that beats out ESPN Plus at $9.99 or $14. Well, I think when it charges, it's more like $14.
Well, I'm gonna give it a shot on December 10th.
Go ahead.
Well, I gotta support Bud. I gotta support Bud, so I got to watch this. However, it might happen. I need to show the actual numbers and show the action of purchasing it, because I still want to see this Spence versus Bud Crawford fight. The question is, do you still think it's viable? That's my question to the both of you guys. Do you think this is a viable fight still?
I mean, I definitely still think it's there. It's still wanted. You can tell, kind of just by the internet the internet interaction about the fight. You can tell that there's some hype there. Anything that's said or like anything announced on it, it's all spread all through the internet, so you hear it fast, which is the same shit that we were seeing on all of the build up towards Mayweather Pacquiao, right? It still has that kind of growth to me. It's just it's not worth that amount of money yet. It's not. And maybe they are. Maybe this is all something. Maybe they're both in cahoots to just be like, hey, let's string this along. Let's build it up. And I mean, it's not the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. That's for sure. I mean, if they're in cahoots together, I mean, you never know. They never know.
They're not. I tried to speak on it earlier. Look, the issue is Bud doesn't have nobody representing him. He's representing himself. Therefore, he has to agree with any and every BS PBC and Errol Spence comes up with. During negotiations, because Bud represents himself, of course, he's going to be present during them. Errol decided not to. Errol decided to leave that up to Al Heyman. Let Al Heyman take care of that side of the business. He'll get in the ring. I agree with that. That does not mean that Errol Spence didn't want the fight to happen any less than Bud did. The issue is in the abnormalities in the contract. When do you have a fight of this magnitude that doesn't guarantee a purse for each fighter? I've never heard of that. So that's issue number one. But
why is that?
But agreed to that. All he wanted was transparency in the expenses. Because if there's no guaranteed purse and you want me to share the revenue, then I want to know, I want to be able to approve and mark off what you're spending. You're not going to run up the bill, so to speak, on me and not give me the opportunity to say something about it because, basically it's my tab too. And that's where it broke off. Period.
Yeah.
That's where it broke off.
And like you said, that's a good point. And I was waiting for somebody to bring that up. That to me leads me to also believe maybe Bronner isn't. Maybe he let the cat out of the bag. Maybe just maybe PBC is having money issues. When's the last time you heard of a non-guaranteed person? Right? If anything, you have a guaranteed person, then you have sales on top of it, right? A percentage of whatever pay-per-view you're getting, percentage of gate. But to have, and especially this magnitude of a fight, not guaranteed money, leads me to believe that Bronner might be telling the truth. Maybe some PPC issues over there.
The reason,
check out Handless Pockets.
Al's reasoning behind it is because this is going to be the one of the potentially biggest fights in history. So the money's going to be there. That's Al's argument. The money's going to be there because it's probably going to be one of the biggest grossing fights in history.
You've been throwing that word out there, like biggest fights in the history. How big do you think this fight is right now?
I don't think it's number one, but I think it's top 5. Honestly, I think it's top 5 in the grossing department.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but for this era, it would be the biggest fight. I agree with Rob. For this era,
for sure.
Because what the problem is that what we have is a bunch of people trying to compare Mayweather pay-per-views to what is now the fighting game right now. This is a new generation of fighters we're talking about. They ain't gonna have numbers like no Floyd or Floyd Maypac. They're not gonna have that. So it's like, stop trying to compare everybody with those numbers. But my thing is with this percentage thing, if that is correct, where he decided, like, I think that was more about how much money Spence wanted to have in this fight versus Crawford. Like, they kept getting into it about, well, I want this split. No, you deserve this split. No, I'm the A side. I get this split. So a good way to take care of that is if one particular opponent, what they call the B side at this point. By the way, we never used to have A and B sides. But now we got them. So, okay, so B side, Crawford. Now, if he's willing to take a percentage of the profits, then I don't have to, in the contract, I don't have to spell out exactly how much money each of them receive. So I think it was more about the amount of money that kept becoming an issue. So they was finally like, okay, well, would you take this percentage of net profits? The other thing is, like, this is what ESPN is reporting, but we really have no way of knowing, because recently it's starting to come into debate, Rob, as to whether we're getting more rumor type reporting than we are real true facts. So we have to question how much of that is really true, how much of it is, ESPN still aligning themselves with Crawford's version, how much, you see what I'm saying? Like, so I just discount all of that. Okay. And I just say it didn't happen. The fight didn't happen, but is there a possibility that it can happen next? I tell you what, if both of them decide to fight different opponents and those numbers are crappy, and I'm being nice by saying crappy, then we're going to be in a situation where both of them may be willing to come back to the table a little bit more humble and make this fight happen. That's the issue. And as far as Broner is concerned, Broner know damn well Showtime was tired of his BS.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, there's no way they was about to put him on their platform. I'm just telling you the truth. Who's going to put him on their platform with him canceling a week out and saying it's for mental distress when most reports are saying it was because he never could make the weight and there was no possible way he was going to make the weight? So I think that he's like found, if this is a true reporting about him with Black Prime, I think it's more him out of necessity rather than him having to do this because somebody was running out of money. Like, literally.
I think both are in the realm of possibility.
And there's no way Al Heyman is broke. You can trust that. Now, whether or not he wants to slim down his budget and stop spending XYZ, that's totally different situation. But Heyman himself, there's no way he's broke. And there's no way possible that Showtime is going to pay for a Broner fight anymore the way he has shown his ass repeatedly.
I mean, Al ain't broke, but that doesn't mean the PBC is not in the, in the green, so to speak. So
I said, like, you could be trimming the fat. I mean, but if you're the owner, if you're the majority owner of PBC, and if you want to trim the fat, if you want to say, yeah, let's cut our losses with Broner.
But I was really hoping after all of this, right? Crawford finally, especially after he left Top Rank, we were like, man, maybe things will finally work out. He'll be able to fight some other welterweights. Unfortunately, PBC has those on lock. So if he's not able to negotiate with Spence, I mean, can he really negotiate anywhere else? No, he's stuck. He's going to have to keep fighting opposition. Like who he's fighting on the BLK Prime pay-per-view. And I'm sorry, but his career is at stake now. It's going to be stalemate, and he's just going to ride this roller coaster of nothingness.
Right.
He should just sign the paper. I mean, I know it's bad to say because it is going to be a huge pay-per-view. Maybe he should work out something with not a Spence, but another PBC fighter first, and just take whatever, beat the crap out of whoever he can face that's in PBC, or just sign to PBC. Just get in with Al Heyman, but he has to get in the door, right? I mean, he has to do something soon. His prime years are going to be wasting away, guys. He needs to do something desperately.
Well, I say he could just move up.
You just want to move on? All right.
I mean, I'm saying that he could just move up in weight.
You guys think that? I don't know. I don't think Spence or Crawford is going to be all that great at 154. Maybe I'm wrong. It's possible.
I think they both were at 154 when they were amateurs, and they just moved. And well, maybe not Crawford. He grew into that grown man status, but definitely Spence was probably, at least I'm hearing he was a middleweight, what was considered a middleweight for amateurs. I mean, the pounds are a little different, but it's still like weight. It's not 147. I just feel like most of those guys that we're talking about fighting right now, they're not going to be able to keep maintaining this welterweight status. And we've seen some of that already with Danny Garcia having to move up. Now they're talking about him moving to 160. So to fight Lara. Like this is a situation where it's some welterweights that are like, yeah, I'm tired of trying to make this weight, and then I'm like, you heard Spence complaining about it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like he's cashing out, though. He's just jumping weight classes trying to find a meaningful fight now. That seems like desperation for sure. All right, let's switch topics here. Let's talk Loma's return.
All right.
Jumping from one bad opposition to what some people would call another one, depending on how you look at it. But he is facing Ortiz, who is 16-0-1, so he is undefeated. Loma hasn't been in competition since May. I thought it was. Oh wait, no, that was not Loma. My bad. Loma's been out because of the war.
For this one.
He hasn't been in the ring, but he certainly is
close. Yeah, it's been close to a year.
I think Comey was his last fight.
And yeah, Comey was his last fight, and that was in December. So, it's going to be about 10 months return. So, guys, how do you expect Lomachenko to look? I mean,
he's going to look like a warrior because he's been at war, damn it. I believe that sucker's probably still in amazing shape. For what they had going on over there in Ukraine. I don't believe this is going to have him taking a step back at all, guys. There's no way. I feel like really and truly, like, to me, this is more like a comeback home to Jesus type of fight where you're just like, damn, okay, I'm out of the war. I didn't get this fight. Get this work in, get this ring rust off me, because I got maybe possibly either a T.O. fight or a Devin Haney fight coming.
I'm just a little worried because I mean Loma's not a spring chicken anymore, you know, and he does use a lot of movement, a ton of movement. You know, he tries to get the angles, and there's going to be a time where he's going to start to slow down. And we really didn't get a lot out of him. He spent a lot of his years, you know, as an amateur. So, but looking at Jamaine Ortiz, who he's taken on, he has a draw with Joseph Adorno, who's a rather talented fighter.
He had a fight with Jamel Herring as well.
And he beat Jamel Herring in his last fight, and that was back in May. So,
but let's just face it. I mean, Jamel Herring was, you know, getting ready to retire anyway. So
he was kind of one of his last.
I don't believe this means anything. I don't believe this is gonna be a real competitive match for high tech. I don't believe it.
Rob?
Yo, Lomachenko. Look, Lucas is right. One day, Father Time is gonna creep in. Those legs are gonna start to go, and he's really going to be a shell of himself. Right now is not that day though. It's not yet. And in fact, next year I think will be the biggest year of his not only career, his life. I think next year will be the biggest year of his life. He's gonna have to take on everybody next year because that window is getting smaller, especially now that he's been to war. You know, people don't realize a war will age you by years. A war can age you by years. So there's a lot of conflict at home. A lot of stuff that he's still going through right now. Because guys, the conflict isn't over at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's not over, but at the same time, I really don't feel like they had any of them prize fighters over there in combat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they had Usyk and Momo both had a post. They both had a post. They both were on social media when they could, showing them at that.
No,
post.
I'm saying I don't believe they were in the firestorm of what was going on with Russia. Like, I don't think they were at the front lines, is what I'm saying.
Basically,
we know they had posts.
Yeah, not seeing action. You know, obviously, if you on social media, like, look at me, you ain't getting shot at because you be dropping that phone real quick.
No,
but
what I hear, Usyk was in a special ops type of group. From what I heard, he was so none of his stuff can be talked about.
Why is it I see that with Usyk, man?
You believe in that? Come on. They had them prize fighters locked up. Like, they had posts, but it wasn't nowhere in. I mean, these are the pride. This is the pride of their countries. Yeah. These fighters, they're not going to have them in a situation where they could lose one of their jewels of their country that represents them globally. I don't see it. They probably did, like, you know, definitely teach them and train them all of the same things that other soldiers were learning, and giving them those tools. But they were definitely backups to me. I don't see how. I know for a fact, if I'm the Ukrainian president Zelensky, I am not about to put who represents my country and puts them on a world stage, like a world platform. I'm not risking their lives. No.
Yeah, because not everybody treats, you know, their jewels bad of their country, you know, like America, who, you know, sent Joe Louis and then, you know, they just taxed him to death. But
and then they tried to send Ali, and he was like not having it.
Yeah, he's like, I ain't doing that shit.
Statement though.
And them people ain't did nothing to me.
Right.
That being said, and I gotta go soon, so I'm gonna go on to my predictions and everything.
You ready for predictions already? I mean,
I gotta go.
It did get late soon. Like, I looked down and I'm like, damn, okay.
So look, Lomachenko, he's still at his prime, in my opinion. He's still hungrier than ever. He's gonna walk through this guy, and you know what? We're actually gonna see, and it is possible. We're actually gonna see a more mature Lomachenko and an already mature and disciplined fighter. So that being said, He's not gonna waste any time. 5th round TKO, Lomachenko. And again, I back it up. Next year, y'all, is got to be the biggest year of his life. We could see 3, maybe 4 great bouts for Lomachenko next year.
Okay. I really hope he does, but being with Top Rank, you never know. I'm not saying that Bob Arum doesn't reach out, because I think he does, and he's in business to make those big fights. But when you start talking about Top Rank versus because then you're talking ESPN versus Showtime, or ESPN versus it just gets so many other confusions that don't interlock together, and so many other ways to split the money that it causes so many issues. I didn't really know we were going to do Loma predictions, because I assumed Loma was going to be picked by all of us at this point. Not to talk bad about Ortiz, but I mean, other than the fact of Loma being gone for so long, I mean, I think that's really the main story, is how is he going to look coming back. But those last minute replacements and decisions like this have been kind of the story for the last couple of years. So I'm not sure. You might surprise us. But Rob, do you have some quick rapid fire kind of wrap the night up?
Oh, I didn't get my prediction.
Oh, my bad.
Of course, I feel like it's Lomachenko that's going to pull out this win. I was looking at his opponent's record, Ortiz, and what I was noticing is the number of southpaws that he's fought. The last 4 of his opponents, 2 of them were southpaws, so he will have a little bit more nuances when it comes to that. And it also looks like he's from a good boxing hub in Massachusetts, like, because they're close to Connecticut, so you got your Chad Dawson's and people like that, with gyms established in those areas. So he's getting a little bit of good work. And it's so funny because his alias is The Technician, and we all know that Loma is the high tech.
Yeah.
So they both got that in their names. So maybe we were looking at, maybe we're downplaying how good this fight might be. So I think it's worth all of us checking out. But definitely, I'm still sticking with Lomachenko for the win. He has a lot on the line, guys, as far as trying to get through this fight, because he knows around the corner it's this unification, undisputed status that could be awaiting him. And or it's also a big money fight possibility, because if he has a rematch with Tio, that would be pretty insane. But I know Tio would have to get back down to lightweight for that to happen. So I'm not really thinking about that. But I do think that definitely if we can get a Lomachenko versus Devin Haney, that's something to stress about. He has more on the line, basically, is what I'm saying, than Ortiz does.
And that's a chess match. And we're not want to sound like we're downplaying Jamaine Ortiz. Look, it's more how good Loma has been, right? I mean, Javi calls him the God. So it's not that we're just like, this guy's a walkover. That's not it at all. From what I've seen, I do like it. I am gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rewatch Ortiz's fight with Adorno, and I'm gonna rewatch the Herring fight.
Okay.
I mean, let's face it, you got to draw against Adorno. Adorno is no slouch either. So I'm gonna rewatch them and see what I can see. But like you said, I mean, it's just you're riding with Lomachenko. I got to ride with him too. Now, Loma Haney, as you mentioned, I think that's going to be a real chess match. It may not even be very pleasing to the eye for a lot of common fans, because I can see it getting pretty technical. But that is something definitely that I would like to see. Rob, who would you like to see Loma fight should he get past Ortiz?
Devin Haney.
Okay. So that sounds like it's unanimous.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Sakura, anything else you wanted to touch on before we end the night? I kind of let this show get away from me.
Real quick.
No, I'll just save it for next week. I mean, of course, I didn't get to talk about the ladies last week because I was still dealing with hurricane stuff going on. But I really am so proud of Claressa Shields and her performance. I think she won a lot of fans over in that particular bout. And then when it came to the Mayer versus Alicia Baumgardner fight, I was real excited about that one. It didn't get as banging as I thought it was going to get. They both had some tricks up their sleeves for each other. But I do feel like the right girl won that particular bout, just based on how it went from, 3 rounds for Baumgardner, couple of rounds for Mayers, then Baumgardner coming back to finish the fight strong. So they could run that one back. But if it was me, I would definitely want to grab Choi with that belt lingering out there to make it a real undisputed status. And then we could talk about Mayers and her having another rematch. I don't think that if they do have a rematch eventually, I feel like Mayers might be more prepared for somebody that's not only a power puncher, but can also box, which I kept warning people that she could box and nobody wanted to listen. They just kept talking about, oh, she's power. Oh, she's power. Oh, she's power. I'm like, that girl can bang it out too. She's a boxer. She got some skills. She's in Detroit. They would not listen. So
listen to Sakura, damn it.
Sometimes you just gotta ride with me. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's like, dog, like, give me a chance. I know what I'm seeing when I'm seeing a good, a good boxer. But we look forward to seeing some more ladies.
For sure. They won the night, and so far they've won the year, and I don't think that's going to change.
And that being said, real quick, Katie Taylor is on this weekend. She's back.
Oh yeah.
On this weekend on DAZN. So definitely want to see Katie Taylor. She can't miss right now. She can't miss.
I support Katie Taylor 100%. I do not support DAZN.
You are always go back to the same topic of these damn.
I can't help it, damn it.
Jojo Diaz fights DAZN as well.
Jojo, let's go.
Jojo's on that card?
Jojo fights that night on a separate card against William Cepeda.
Why didn't I see that? Okay.
Is he related to the other Cepeda that's fighting Prograis?
Who knows?
What I was gonna say about that fight, guys, is that Prograis and Cepeda, oh my God, that's gonna be a nice fight. But once again, it seems like that's gonna be another pay-per-view app situation or something. I don't know what. I know it's Mars Nation. Some of us didn't know about it before because we're not on the West Coast. This is their coming out party to upgrade to a major promotional company. So I wish them all the best as well. Any new players in the game, I'm all for it. Let's see it. And but this is a whole nother pay-per-view situation going on.
Never stops. That all you had, Rob?
Yeah. I'm going back to DAZN to see Katie Taylor. I don't care about any of the guys no more this year. Forget the men. I want to see Katie Taylor, boy.
I done won you over then. I done changed you. You came over to my side?
She's bad. She's cold-blooded. She's bad.
I think the women have won us over. I mean, it's been a rough year for the guys. I mean, honestly, that the women have the runner-up fight of the year too. I mean, I don't even know. The guys are way down there, right?
I mean, it's top 3. They got 3 slots
for real. I mean, the boxing male-wise has been shit this year, but the girls have stepped it up. The women have stepped it up, and I'm gonna be happy awarding a fight of the year to a woman fight. I mean, that's music to my ears and a good change of pace. I'm glad And I think we called it. I mean, on the show, I think we said, I think 2022 is going to be the year of the
Year of the
women.
woman.
And it really has been. It's been a great year for women boxing. And I don't think it's going to stop. Hopefully Katie Taylor puts on a show and is another great card for all women. But look, definitely check us out every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Something was wrong with our Facebook post. I'm going to immediately put this back up for everybody to see. So definitely check us out again, all social media at Heavy Bag Boxing. And we'll see you again next week. Have a good night.